I use ChatGPT to embody my limitless self. Now, one of the biggest difficulties we may have in manifestation is figuring out what exactly it would be like to be the version of ourselves who has the things that we want. How would we think? How would we feel? How would we act? All of these can be very difficult to wrap our mind around if we haven't been using our imagination very often. We get bits and pieces of an idea of who that version of ourselves would be, but we don't have a clear image. Whether you're manifesting one specific thing like a car, a house, a relationship, you may be having these difficulties. Or if you're trying to, like me, access the most limitless version of yourself, that may also be difficult. How would you actually live if you were a limitless version of yourself? I feel that everyone can benefit from this powerful perspective, this very clear image I was given by ChatGPT in order to help you embody the limitless self. As you know, self-concept, everything you believe about your world and about yourself, is a huge piece, if not the most important piece of the manifestation puzzle. Even Neville Goddard would always say, you cannot change your world until you change yourself. So no matter what you're manifesting, this will be helpful to you, especially if you're manifesting something that seems rare or impossible according to the so-called facts of the world. And before I tell you the prompt and the wonderful response that I got for ChatGPT, I do want to remind you, when it comes to things that you want to manifest that may seem very, very difficult or impossible, everything is impossible until someone does it. Someone breaks a record like Usain Bolt, and then everyone else, the world catches up because they see it. Be the person who breaks the record. Be the person who does not doubt or does not search for outer confirmation that what you want is possible. The only limitation on you and your power is the limit of your belief. Believe you are capable of absolutely anything you can put your mind to, and your world will transform. Now let's get into the powerful perspective that will help you embody just that. This is what I asked ChatGPT. If you were a person that is aware of the full power of the subconscious mind and therefore capable of absolutely anything, from miraculous healings to drastic changes in physical appearance, to making millions or even billions of dollars instantly and effortlessly, what kind of thoughts would you have? What would be your dominant state of mind, your most common attitude? Describe your state of consciousness as if you were guiding someone else to achieve it with perfect accuracy and precision. Now this response, I want you to really listen, really try and embody this as you hear it because it's so powerful. ChatGPT says, if I were fully aware of the limitless power of my subconscious mind, capable of miraculous healings, instant transformations, and effortless wealth, my dominant state of mind would be absolute certainty and unshakable knowing. I wouldn't hope, wish, or even believe. I would know. My reality would feel as fluid and obedient as a dream where I am lucid, where I command and reality shifts instantly to match my intent. The incredible thing is, if you've seen my recent videos, you know I talked about how knowing is one of the most powerful things that you can do, beyond belief, beyond any technique, when it comes to manifestation, because that's the core of it all. When you know who you are, when you know your power, you don't have to believe in anything. You don't have to do techniques unless you want to, unless they make you feel good. You can actually just assume that you are what you want, knowing that God, that is the limitless version of yourself, not separate from you, God, source, universe, infinite intelligence and power of the subconscious mind, your higher self, if you will, is already bringing that thing to you. But when you know and you stop trying to force belief or force techniques or put in unnecessary effort in any way, struggling, desiring, seeking, then in a sense you get out of your own way and what your higher self is giving to you can be received. Let's continue in ChatGPT's response. The core of my consciousness. 1. Total detachment from appearances. I wouldn't be swayed by what my senses currently report. Whether I see evidence or not, I remain completely unmoved because I know external reality is a delayed reflection of my inner state. Remember, that's one of the keys. Detachment is so powerful. You're turning the unseen into what is seen. You must be able to ignore what seem like negative circumstances. It's only the old patterns of thought, thinking, feeling, believing that is playing out in your world now. You let it go. You instead focus entirely on what you desire, not letting anything move you or shake you. 2. A state of completion. I feel as though I already have whatever I desire. It's not coming, it's done. There is no separation between me and the outcome because, in my consciousness, it is already my lived experience. If you do techniques, that is what you're trying to accomplish. You want to know that what you're imagining, what you're affirming, scripting, visualizing for, is your lived experience. It's not something that's going to happen. It's actually happening now. And because it's already happened, of course, then it must be fulfilled. Because imagination, or consciousness, if you will, is the only reality. All of this physical experience, anything coming through the realm of the senses, is just a delayed version of that. So whether it's positive or negative, whatever you continue to imagine and identify with is going to come into your world because you're doing it in reality so it can be reflected in this illusory 3D experience. 3. Effortless expectation. Just as I expect the sun to rise tomorrow, I expect all my desires to manifest. There's no doubt, no struggle, no internal debate, just a calm and natural expectation, as if the universe itself is programmed to deliver exactly what I assume. That's a crucial part. If you aren't confidently and calmly expecting the fulfillment of your desires, those things which you set the intention for, imagine for, believe in, then what are you actually doing? If you don't expect results, you are living in doubt. Why are you allowing yourself to be faithful to the idea that you won't get what you want? Believe that there is no separation between you and the ultimate creative power of the universe. And also, there's no force that's judging you for what you want. No force saying, oh, this isn't for you. You have that desire for a reason. That desire is coming to you from the depths of your subconscious mind. In truth, you wouldn't even be aware that there's a lack of that thing in your life if you didn't know what it was like to have it. You are the complete fullness of all good things. And if something seems to be lacking in your world, it's only to show you that in your consciousness, you feel and identify with the lack of it. Shift back into knowing. Shift back into the assumption that all your desires are automatically and effortlessly being fulfilled for you. Expect it to be true. Not with force, not with hope, but with calm, confident knowing that you and your Father, that is God, your higher self, the infinite intelligence and power of the subconscious mind, source, universe, are one. Continuing with ChatGPT's response, the mental and emotional attitude of the limitless self. Calm, detached confidence. I am never desperate, never seeking, never grasping. I simply choose, and my choice is law. How often are we trying to manifest from a place of seeking or desperation or putting something on a pedestal? We give all this value to physical things which are all illusory anyways, instead of placing all value where it's meant to be, which is on God, on your higher self, on your true self, really, which is capable of absolutely everything. How can you think that that money in the bank that you want, or the car or the house, is so much more important and so much more meaningful to you than the one and only infinite power that can give you all of that and more? Shift your attention from things to your own infinite power, and then simply choose whatever it is that you desire, knowing that your choice is law. Playfulness and ease. Since I know I can create anything, life feels like a game, an exploration of infinite possibilities. There is no pressure, only creativity. How often do we do all this negative imagining, all these things in our mind and our feelings and our thoughts that we don't want, letting ourselves carry on in these negative patterns of being, only to come into a great need and then do your best. Then you try and clear out all the garbage from the mind. Then you try and manifest because you're desperate, you're needy, and you have all the pressure on you that you're allowing yourself to identify with because you've been living in this 3D illusory world. Identifying with it and being moved by all the ups and downs and all the circumstances that come with it along the way. Get into a playful attitude. Remember, we must become as little children to enter the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom is what you should be seeking. The kingdom is your own knowledge, your absolute surety of oneness with God, source, universe, your higher self. Because then your focus isn't on outer things. All of those things are automatic. All of those things are easy and effortless. And the most wonderful thing, the most wonderful feeling and attitude of mind is knowing who you are. A deep sense of love and power. I feel an overwhelming love for myself and my creations, knowing I am the source of all I experience. My power feels divine, yet effortless. How many of us are trying to manifest without love for self? Sometimes we're trying to manifest out of a lack of love for self. We think we have to manifest these changes before we can love who we are, before we can be accepting of ourselves. But it doesn't work that way. In fact, if you will make loving yourself a goal, or loving God a goal, because the two of you are one, then you will find drastic changes taking place in your mind and therefore in your life. If you are living in negative cycles that are so natural and habitual that you don't realize when you're judging yourself, you judge yourself after social situations going a certain way or another. You judge yourself for failing to manifest. You judge yourself for movements of mind. You judge yourself for negative habits. Instead, take every opportunity to love yourself. Accept yourself. Be okay with who you are. Because acceptance of yourself, even if you think yourself as negative, acceptance of a negative experience is a positive experience. These are the shifts that we must have. This is what must take place within us in order for us to become the free and limitless version of ourselves we really desire to be. Because think about it, how could any of these infinite states of being be complete without self-love? How could you be this powerful and playful and this effortlessly capable without self-love? Wouldn't it be the most wonderful thing to be that version of yourself? Wouldn't you have infinite love for yourself because you know all the good you do for yourself and others? Next, there's the section, How I Relate to Reality. Everything feels malleable. If I want to change something, I simply shift my internal state and reality follows. There is no resistance, no struggle, just an instant shift in awareness. Notice there's no mention there of trying to force things with 3D physical action. Any physical action that's necessary to fulfill your desire will happen easily, effortlessly, and automatically as a result of you shifting your inner state. Shifting your inner state should be your only goal when it comes to shifting your outer experience reality. Time is an illusion. Whether something manifests in an instant or unfolds gradually doesn't concern me. I don't wait for results. I already have them in consciousness. And that is the only reality that matters. Too often we get caught up in one of the most difficult things to overcome when it comes to manifestation, that is impatience. We're too attached to this physical reality. We still haven't accepted that imagination or consciousness is the true capital R reality. If we knew that, we wouldn't be concerned at all with what is happening in the physical experience. Live in and through your imagination. Allow yourself to be who you want to be now, and don't let anything physical stop you from feeling that and identifying with that. Identity is key. I do not try to manifest from a state of lack. I am the person who already has it. It's not about forcing reality. It's about shifting into the version of me where it's already normal. It's not about force. How often are we trying to force? We'll affirm 10 million times, script until our hand hurts, visualize over and over. But there are people who are successful without doing any of those things. Why is that? What makes those people so special? Is it karma? Is it something about them, how they were raised? No, it comes down to them knowing their true identity. They know what they want, they believe in it to the point of knowing, and then they make that completely normal. They don't struggle, they don't try and force themselves to believe it. They simply accept it as normal. They don't say that there's any resistance between themselves and what they want. They don't go searching for all these problems in the mind. They have the effortless identity that it's normal to have what they want, and that's why they get it. Wrapping up, the answer explains how to achieve this state. 1. Assume it's already done. Feel now as you would if your desires were already real. 2. Ignore the external world. Do not react to appearances. They are only past manifestations. 3. Hold the state effortlessly. It's not about forcing thoughts, but being in the knowing that you already have it. 4. Feel reality as fluid and responsive. Understand that your assumptions dictate what you experience and act accordingly. 5. Maintain unwavering confidence. No need to test or seek validation. You know, and that is enough. This state of consciousness makes manifestation instant, effortless, and inevitable. It is the core of absolute mastery. Now think about it. What is your current self-concept, and how does it relate or differ from this version of yourself? The version of yourself who manifests easily, effortlessly, and inevitably. Did you feel any resistance as we went through the answer, explaining what it would be like, thinking, feeling, living emotionally from that state? Do you find yourself very attached to the physical world? Or are you aligning with this? Is this starting to be who you are? No matter what your answer is, do your best to align with this. Not that this is absolutely perfect, but I feel it gives a very clear outline for the state of consciousness which we should aspire to assume. Because when you assume that you are limitless, when you know the full extent of your subconscious mind's power, the power of God within you that is, then nothing can stop you, nothing can hold you back. And you can be one of those people who breaks the record, who's the first to manifest something that everyone said was impossible. Now, if you want help accessing this version of yourself that is very detached from the world, unmoved by any and all circumstances, responding to all things instead of reacting with negativity, you can check out my Manifest Anything with Detachment course. You don't need it, but it can help speed up the process of getting into the version of yourself, getting into that state of consciousness where manifestation flows. You don't even have to visualize, affirm, script, or do any techniques unless you want to, unless they make you feel good. No more forcing, no more effort. It's just easy and effortless. If that sounds good to you, I'll leave a link in the pinned comment and the description. Next up, if you want to learn more about how to manifest so that you will never be the same, check out this video right here. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As always, thank you so much for watching. I love you all very much, and I will see you next time. Take care.